Awesome. Good morning, or if you're watching this later, it could be afternoon. We are super excited this morning to have with Kelly and the Kennrod Foundation. We have some really cool guests on. They may be our youngest guests. No, we've had a couple ones. So it's always good to get youth on there. So Kelly, good job of recruiting some good guests. So what we want to do is really just tell you a little bit about Kennrod, and we also want to dig into the careers of our guests because, you know, when you're young and you're trying to figure out what do you want to do after you get out of school, or what do you want to do, you know, for your career, it's always good to know what a career is all about, what is behind that. So Kelly's awesome in bringing really cool guests on to dig into what does it mean to be doing what these people are doing. So Kelly, I'm going to give you the floor for just a second or a few minutes. Tell us a little bit about Kennrod and y'all's purpose and mission, and then I'll introduce the guest and we'll jump in.
Thank you so much, Pete. Yes, good morning, everyone. I am excited to be here as always. We look forward to just having some time each month with each of you to share about Kennrod and to share specific things that we are doing, as well as bringing on wonderful guests so that you will have an inside view into their career field and have some insight on their career journey. I am especially excited today because we have two of our Kennrod board members. Anslynn Capps and AJ McKinney are both board members. They serve on the Kennrod board. They believe in our mission, which is to provide high quality tutoring and college and career readiness services to pre-K through 12th grade students in underserved communities. That is what we do. We are bringing this Facebook Live series to you each month so that you will have an opportunity to meet special guests, but not only that, for them to glean insight into their career fields. One of the things that we were doing before COVID was actually bringing exposure to our students by allowing practitioners to come into the schools, and the students could actually talk to them firsthand. Well, we're not in the schools right now, given the current circumstances. So this is a way for us to still stay connected. And I'm just delighted to have both of these guests here today.
Awesome. Thank you, Kelly. So let's, when it comes to careers, Anslynn, just first, what would you say, like, when a career in Comcast, a very large company, how did you get into Comcast? And give us a little bit of background of that for people out there listening.
Sure. So I actually started at a competitor. I started at Cox Media Group, and I've always respected Comcast from afar. I really feel like the corporate culture there has been really fitting for my lifestyle, and I feel like they care about their employees. I started at Cox, and then I saw an open opportunity at Comcast, and so made the switch. It's been I've been there a year and a half. It's been a wonderful year and a half so far, and I can't wait to continue with the company. I actually work for the advertising division called Effectv there. So
awesome. What about, like, what's your biggest challenge that you're finding? I know we're in the middle of COVID and all that, but share with the challenges that you face in the sales role.
Definitely, I'm more in the local space right now, and it's just been challenging trying to understand and fix the problems of my clients from afar and kind of meet their needs where I can. Really reaching out to new clients. I know Kelly and I and AJ were all introduced at a chamber event, which is really not happening right now. So it's really trying to grow account lists organically, really be there for my clients and build relationships virtually.
Awesome. What about, like, you'll be talking to me, and I love everything you say about branding. So
Mhm.
where do you see media branding in the future for businesses?
So media branding changes every single day. I would say just in the last 18 months, I've seen a huge shift. I sell both traditional television or in the linear space. So if you turn on your TV and you're going directly to ESPN or FS1, but I also sell in the digital space, and we're seeing a huge rise in those OTT or over the top platforms because that's that one-to-one engaged audiences, because our audiences are selecting those programs specifically. So I think soon enough, in the next 10, 15 years, we might even see that digital has kind of topped our linear space. So it's really changing and moving into that world.
Yeah, I deal with people, and it's my generation, which is a few years older than yourself, is like it's like all new to them for the
Mm-hmm.
most part for business. So it's they're starting to accept the fact that they have to consider digital as
Absolutely.
a way
And
to reach.
we'll get into that when we do the PowerPoint. But yes, it is new to your generation. But they're adapting too. So it's becoming kind of a common space for everybody.
Yep, you're right. AJ, how about yourself? You're in the exciting sports and entertainment industry. How did you get involved in that industry?
Yeah, great question. It was always a passion or interest of mine to get into sports and entertainment. For me, the great thing was learning of all the different jobs that you can do within it. It's just like a normal corporation. But for me, it was all about relationships. The more relationships you build, you continue to build, across from high school, college, and into hopefully your professional career. It becomes easier to build those relationships, speak to certain people, and they know your hard work, your work ethic, and things like that. It's just an easy way to kind of get yourself in the door, especially in a niche field like sports and entertainment.
Yeah, so I think I remember you have a sports background. Did you play in the Braves organization or?
No, so I didn't. So I went to the University of Alabama. I
Okay.
ended up going to grad school for my master's in sport business management. It put me squarely on the business side of sports. I started off with an NFL agency. So for me, it was a startup agency. I was able to wear a lot of hats. And it was the perfect start to my sports or professional career. And I actually got the opportunity to get into the door from a colleague from college who started with the Braves, and they kind of got me in the door with some of the upper level executives, and I was able to go interviews and get an opportunity with the Braves. So it was again all about relationships.
Yeah, I mean, I love any chance I can share with my daughters or anybody maybe just starting out is it's all about relationships, and it's key to anything we do. Tell me, just share like from a relationship standpoint, what do you do to build those relationships?
Yeah, great question again. So I'm on the business and corporate development side. So for me, reaching out to these companies, these high level executives, these C-suites, it's all about relationships. So for me, I do tend to travel around the Southeast, not just Metro Atlanta. Braves country stretches from Georgia to Alabama, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina. So we have a broad range of locations that I'm able to go to, but it's all about the company. So for me, it's not necessarily trying to sell them anything, any product. It's really about establishing a fit. So if the fit's potentially there, where they could potentially get their consumers, their customers, their clients, obviously, and growing their business, then it makes it easier. It makes it an easier process.
Good. Do you use like a CRM to keep track of the information on your relationships?
Yes. So we were with CRM, but we've kind of went a little bit more towards Salesforce, and we have other systems that we use. But it's really about continuing to reach out. Obviously, keeping that pipeline, fluid and kind of going through that and not staying stagnant. But yes, a lot of the notes, from countless hundreds, thousands of conversations over the past months or even years, in most times, really helps out.
Absolutely.
It was a great book. Actually, I was on Audible that I just finished, and it was about power connections. And the person that wrote the book was talking about how she kind of lays out her top 100 and systematically has a process of connecting and building those relationships. And it was a very interesting listen because, I think that anything we do, we're trying to improve skills. And there's probably not too much more than the relationship side to any business that you have to be really good at.
Right.
So, Anslynn, how about yourself? Like when it comes to relationships, what have you found to be, helpful for yourself in your position and in your career so far?
I think, and it was so funny, I was talking about this just the other day, but I really try to build that trust factor and take the consultative approach. I think once you get your clients really trusting you and saying, Anslynn, what do you think is best here? I think that's when you truly know that you've built a really good relationship with that person, and then you just continue to foster it. We're always, even if the client doesn't have the budget right then, I always try to come up with creative ways that they can still get involved and get into their community and do outreach. And then 6 months to a year down the road, either it's them calling me back or it's, hey, we're impressed with you, and we have a friend that's interested in doing some video and in the digital space or in the linear space. Would you reach out? And absolutely. So.
Oh, that's good. How about, the tool like LinkedIn, which is, obviously a professional social platform. How have you used it in your business? And do you think that's a part of what you do as far as relationship building?
I think resumes are very old school. I think your digital resume now, LinkedIn, is kind of your brand. So it's very important to stay updated on LinkedIn. I know that even relational building, I try to look at someone's LinkedIn, see if they have a mutual connection, see if they've gone to the same college, had anything in common, and just kind of lead with that. Again, it's all about commonality, and that's how you're able to really foster relationships. So definitely LinkedIn profiles are important. I probably don't use them as much as I should, but very important.
Awesome. AJ, how about yourself? Do you find that LinkedIn's helpful?
Yeah, and I want to piggyback a little bit off what Anslynn said a few minutes ago. She's 100% correct. Trust is, if you get in the door, obviously set up these meetings personally, in person, or virtual, more of a virtual setting now. It makes the process so much easier because she's right. If the fit's not there, in 1 or 2 months, it could be there that next year. And it makes it so much easier for them to, like she said, to reach back out to you. So great point. And back to LinkedIn, yeah. So it's a great tool to use. A lot of my potential clients, so prospects that I invite out, or even my current clients, I start forming and building those relationships on LinkedIn. I've even had, some people I meet at a particular event that says, hey, AJ, what's your LinkedIn? At me tomorrow. And these are C-suite. So it's definitely a powerful tool to use.
Yeah, no, it's been evolving over the last couple of years to even a more powerful tool. I mean, it's just everything goes through an evolution, and I think LinkedIn is going through that same one. And it's, you can get a lot of, they call it organic. It's like it goes out to people without paying more on LinkedIn than you can any of the other ones. So it is a great platform. That's true. What advice, if you're in high school and you're trying to figure out what do you want to do, what are a couple tips that you could give the listeners that they would need to do to prepare for when they get out of school?
AJ, you want to start?
You want to go first?
I can start that one.
Okay.
For me, it's not necessarily hard, but hard work, persistence pays off. And honestly, being yourself, but knowing when to um, grade yourself as well, and knowing where you need to get better at as far as a skill set, I think always helps out. But you have to have hard work with any job, any opportunity, because you have to work on your craft. So it's kind of, with me being in the sports field, a lot of people look at that and look at athletes. Oh, they're so athletic, or they're just gifted, but they also work very, very hard at what they do to get better each and every day. So it's like they're in a job setting or in a skill setting, and persistence. I don't think anyone would be on this call, especially anywhere, without persistence and that hard work paying off. And for me, with the sports and entertainment field being so much of a niche field where it's so tough to get into it, but once you break into it, it's great. You can go here, you can go there, you can move up and things like that. It's all about persistence for me, but also sending those emails, sending those follow-ups and things like that.
Right.
Good advice.
So I personally, I know when I was 18, I thought a lot about, and you see people a lot of times say, how am I supposed to know what I'm supposed to do with my life at 18 years old? And I don't think that's necessarily the answer. I don't think you have to know, but I think that you have to have a plan in place and really look internally and say, what am I good at? What can I offer people? What are the skills that I already hone that can be grown? And a degree is so important. Education is so important because it's a piece of paper, but it kind of shows to your employer, I'm dedicated, I'm willing to learn, I'm teachable, and I've done this for 2, 4, 6, 8 years, and I am teachable now. So you don't have to know. I didn't know. I thought I was going to be a nurse, actually, and I got into nursing school and then completely switched. But it was the people skills that I think I have, that I wanted to help people, and I knew that, and then it kind of translated into marketing, and I found my passion here.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's great. How about personal development?
We're having a little bit of background noise. Do you think it's cleared up now?
Yeah, I do hear that now. I don't know. Let's see. It may be, let's have AJ say something and then see if we can narrow it down. It might be, it wasn't when you were just talking. I don't hear it for myself, but we'll see if we can nail it down. I don't know what we do, but how about AJ, when it comes to personal development, what are you doing? Any books? Do you listen to anything? What are you doing to develop the self?
Yeah. Books are great. I wasn't really an avid reader, but since I've gotten into some of these roles, I do use books a lot, just to kind of broadcast and see what these other successful people have done. Even from that standpoint, from self-taught self-lesson books. I listen to a lot of podcasts as well, and not necessarily, things that I like or have interest in currently, but some things I might want to have some interest in to learn and grow. And lastly, I'll say that things that helped me are talking to some of my colleagues, talking to my boss, talking to my manager, some of the upper level executives that see me from a day-to-day standpoint, or even from a client perspective. Just kind of seeing what they think of me, what are some things I could potentially work on because they see me on a day-to-day. And, for me, it's all about, I would say I'm always the toughest person. No one will ever be tougher on myself than my own personal opinion. So I love to hear people's thoughts and opinions on what I can do better.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. How about yourself, Anslynn?
So I would say right now, I think the background noise is me, but right now I actually just finished. So I'm young, I'm 25, and I want to really set myself up for financial success. So I know I've really been into Dave Ramsey lately, but kind of going off what AJ said, I think a lot of times people are so afraid that they're imposing on others' times and saying, hey, can I talk to you about your business? Or just tell me what you do. How did you get started? And people really appreciate that at the end of the day.
Yes.
So don't be scared. Always be curious. Always be willing to learn, because 95% of the time, people want to tell you about what they do and what their passions are.
Oh, that's great advice. And we have I'll share it with everybody. So John's saying hello to you, Kelly.
Good morning, John. Always good to have you.
Thank
John
you
is a regular, Pete. I have to say that.
Absolutely. John, thanks for your support of the show. And it's a good little segue into just sharing with our viewers. We do these to help spread the word about what Kennrod's doing with education, how they're impacting kids' lives. So when you see this show, share it with people you might know. We want more people to know about what's going on at Kennrod. And if you'd love to volunteer, I mean, we can always use people to come in and support the organization. And just like we have this morning, we love people to come on and talk about their careers, what they're doing in the workforce, so people can have a good idea of what that career looks like and can, connect with them and establish a better picture of their, what their options are. So Kelly, tell us what's going on just from a standpoint of COVID and the schools. What are you hearing out there in the school systems from your friends and people in education?
The reason why I love education so much is because we're so resilient as educators. And that is exactly what's happening right now. Our school leaders, our teachers, our teams at the schools, bus drivers, the custodial workers, everyone just steps up and does what needs to be done to support our kids and families. That is what's happening. People are making adjustments where they need to. Some of the schools more recently came into face-to-face learning again. So they've been adapting to that. Some have been in schools, much longer, but whatever the case, they are adjusting to the time right now. And it's just really nice that they're getting the support in a number of areas that they need to be able to make those things happen. They're making changes too, as COVID cases arise, they're closing classrooms, closing even schools if they need to, and making sure that they take care of that and allowing the students to come back. So I think this time, while it is different in terms of the experience that we're having globally, in terms of how schools adjust to changes, I think it's right in line with what we've always done, and that's doing what needs to be done to take care of our kids.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, change is a part of life, and that we always have to be willing to adapt to what is out there. So it does teach us. I mean, from a business standpoint, it's probably been one of the more major shifts and change that we've had in a long, long time. So, but people will come out of this, and there'll be people that'll say, I'm going to go aggressively and grow and figure it out. And then there'll be people that'll complain, and that's just in life. But
that's
you
right.
will be, on the side to, like our guests that, are sharing how important it is building those relationships, and really everything will have its cycle. So we'll be out of it. We'll be back to whatever the normal is. So what about, hey, so that's good. We love, just keep in mind, Kennrod, and the volunteer aspect of it. If you can reach out, I'm going to put Kelly's information up. If you're digitally savvy, if you're in a position where you could help support, because there's a lot of things digitally that the younger generation do, just, it's just become second nature. I know we always looking for help in that area. So get a hold of Kelly and call the office, and we'd love to have people that have that skill set get involved.
Absolutely. And I also want to make sure, I know there's been a presentation prepared too, and I want to make sure that we're able to get to that. How should we best do that, Anslynn and AJ? Maybe we can have at least, 10 minutes or so to share your screen.
I don't know if I exactly know on this platform how to oh, I see it.
You see it?
let me
you just let me know. You guys let Pete know since he's driving this train.
Well, you can do it on your end because you're more prepared. I apologize. I did not have anything up, and that's my bad. So if you have the ability, you click on that share screen, and then it'll look at what you have on your monitor. Then you pick what you want. If it's a website or it's a presentation, then you can click on that. And if AJ, do you have anything on your end? Probably was.
Yeah, I have the same document.
It's the same slideshow, but
it is? Okay. Fantastic.
I have it up, and I will share my screen, and then I guess I'll just kind of moderate, and we can go from the beginning.
That would be awesome. It'll change the look here once you hit share. Let's see. Is it doing anything on your end?
It is not. Let's see. Can you guys see this?
You should, when you see the screen, then go over to the gray share area and click on that. But you have to first hit your one screen that you want to share. So hit your screen first, then hit the share button. There we go.
Okay, let's start from the beginning.
Okay, it should be coming on.
All right. So I know we've gone over a lot of this, and I think my slides are first. So I'll just start. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. We really titled this an insider look at media branding and sports marketing. So just kind of giving you guys a quick overview of what we really do. Again, my background, I went to Georgia College and State University. I started out as a nursing major and then switched to marketing. I started my career 3 weeks after I graduated, which was kind of a whirlwind, at Cox Media Group, their division called Cox Reps, as an assistant. I worked there for a year and then moved into Effectv, which is the advertising division of Comcast, NBC Universal, as an account executive. So I always start when people ask what I do, they're like, do you sell Super Bowl space? Because I know that's kind of the most coveted advertising space in the industry. And the answer is no. And I think it's kind of been a double-edged sword for me in terms of telling clients when they're like, we can't afford this. We don't know. We don't have millions and millions of dollars, and you don't have to. It tends to be national brands who advertise during the Super Bowl. They're the 30-second ads, but there is advertising for everybody. So the new TV requires a new approach, and I know we kind of got into a little bit of the digital conversation. You used to watch your programming like Property Brothers just on traditional television. You would turn on your TV, hit HDTV, and hope that Property Brothers was on, but now you can watch live, you can stream on your laptops, on your tablets, on your smartphones, on your connected devices. There's HDTV itself. They have an app for it on your Apple TV, Roku. So the way we consume media really is changing so much. So my mission for my advertisers, I really want to increase brand awareness across surrounding areas. We can zone target. So if you just have one location in West Cobb, we can advertise there for you. My advertising efforts, I hope, contribute to a well-recognized brand that can be easily associated with other marketing efforts. So we look at what you're doing on billboards, in publications, and really try to match that if we're filming a commercial for you. And then we also use targeted expanded viewership. And this has also changed too, because there used to be a rating system called Nielsen that was the industry standard, but now Comcast has taken it into their own hands and really measured set-top box data, where you think it's just changing your channel. They're really collecting data, where you're watching, how you're watching. And so it's been really beneficial and helpful for us to say, if you want to target young women like myself, single young women in the city, we can do that for you. Just a few examples of local, regional, and national clients. Local would be locally owned banks like Coosa Valley, toy stores, Hobbytown, jewelry stores, Styles Jewelry. Regional lawyers such as Ken Nugent, sports teams such as the Falcons and the Braves. And on a national level, we sometimes get national buys in. We do have a division for that. Coca-Cola, Wells Fargo, Chevy, State Farm. We follow the audience. We can do content focus based on age and where they're watching, how they're watching. We can also do audience focused, which is pretty cool too. If you're a car dealer wanting to target somebody who owns an SUV, we can do that as well. So this is pretty cool, and we'll just look at this briefly, but this is how segmented our viewership has become. It starts with the content and then how you're able to access the content. So as you can see, I mean, a viewer, if they want to access their USA, FX programming, they have a ton of ways to do it. And we serve in a lot of these spaces, not all of them, but a lot. And then as you were mentioning earlier, digital is definitely consumed more by the younger generation. I would say we split about 50% of our time in the digital space and 50% still in the linear space. And it definitely ticks up to be smaller as adults 65 plus, but still, even in that space, 17% of that population, or 17% of time spent in that population, is in the digital space. So TV and media consumption is moving that way.
Awesome. Thanks, Anslynn. So a little bit about me. Again, I went to the University of Alabama. For undergrad, I majored in kinesiology. And a lot of the things Anslynn was saying earlier didn't necessarily, go down the same path as I expected. But that's why I ended up going to grad school, and I got my master's in sport business management. Again, I started with the NFL agency called Element Sports Group. Great startup agency, learned a lot of things, did a lot of great things with the company, but was able to get the opportunity with the Atlanta Braves Baseball Club, which is where I'm currently at. Can you hit the next slide?
Sorry.
Awesome. So a little bit about Element Sports Group. It's primarily NFL focused. So most of our potential clients and things were athletes. We had about NFL players, coaches from college, collegiately, and in the professional arena, and also media personalities. So some of your TV reporters, some of your studio hosts and things like that. And some of the services that we provided, we did contracts, obviously, for our players, for marketing, which was more into what I did on a day-to-day basis, and then training and career development. So, training for the NFL draft, training for interviews, and then career development goes more towards after, when you leave your playing career, whether it's a few months or 20 years down the line, everyone's looking forward to a career as well. And then PR, and giving back. So getting your brand out there, getting your name, making sure that's good. You're doing the necessary things from a PR perspective. But a lot of our clients and our athletes want to give back to the community, which was great to see. So some of the, again, kind of hitting the services again of the sports agency, has said that clients consists, of over 50 clients from wide-ranging areas. And the relationship aspect in the pre-draft process was great to see. So, a lot of these collegiate athletes, when they're trying to go toward the NFL, Obviously, they have their choice of potential agents or agencies to choose and pick. But again, like we've been saying earlier, it's all about the relationships that you build. The marketing aspect, it was great for me reaching out to these companies, seeing the interest of the athletes from an endorsement standpoint, from a sponsorship standpoint, and being able to partner them up and integrate. It was awesome. And the obviously negotiating those contracts, and it was awesome to see a lot of the different facts and figures that goes into the process of negotiating a contract, and comparing players, comparing years, and things like that. So after the game, this was actually one of our clients. Aaron Murray played at Georgia. He was quarterback. But as you can see, he's with CBS Sports now. So in one of the hallmarks that we always said in office was leaving your legacy. So not only, again, from your playing career, where it tends to be fairly short, 3 to 5 years, but obviously looking to a life after sports. And leveraging those relationships and the experiences that they've had from growing up, from college, but also professionally, leads them to a lot of the relationships that they've had off the field. So, and this was a snapshot going more towards the Braves side of things in professional sports in our leagues. Obviously, these are millions to billion-dollar industries and leagues that we have. So obviously you can see that the MLB is slightly trailing the NFL, but that just gives people an idea of the money and the type of money that goes into a lot of these leagues. So, a lot of people don't really necessarily think about it, but how do these leagues get this money? How do these teams get this money? So if you'll go to the next slide, Anslynn. Here's a little snapshot of the revenue streams. There are 4 major revenue streams that comes with these companies. TV deals and with various networks. So a lot of what Anslynn was saying, these major contracts with ESPN, broadcasting rights, and obviously Fox Sports is huge with the Braves, and sports ventures. So a lot of these are the outside sources like a Nike, your team deals, from your uniforms and things like that, merchandising. When it gets to sports enterprises, these are the outside deals with more of not necessarily an ESPN, but an MLB TV, the subscriptions, the MLB network, a lot more of the local broadcasting. And then lastly, the local revenues, which I try to play a huge part in. And it's more of the sales aspect, having these companies come out to boxes to grow their business. And then from a sponsorship standpoint as well, where it's a little bit smaller, but in the picture, I put a picture of Truist Park. So basically, Truist is one of our corporate sponsors. You can't see it there, but Home Depot is one as well, Delta, Xfinity, Comcast, Anslynn. So that's where a lot of the money comes from, these local, whether it's in the state or, in that particular region of the team. And then last, I just wanted to touch on a little bit more of the B2B side of things from a corporate development and marketing standpoint. A lot of these companies that use us and cater towards us obviously are looking to grow their business, and it's about building their brand. So a lot of companies that particularly use me, again, aren't necessarily just in the metro Atlanta area. It expands out. I've had companies in New York that are based and headquartered in New York, but have regional offices that use us. So it's about driving that excitement about the brand and the products and the services that they provide. Moving on, and with that new and increased exposure, it makes it easier from a sales standpoint to generate that new business and revenue that they have coming in. And then lastly, you're able to expand, and especially with Anslynn, what she does, if you see a commercial or something like that and it piques your interest, what do? Or most people, they Google it, they look into it a little bit more. So it's the same a lot of what I do as well, expanding your new target audience, getting various channels, and again, not necessarily being in that same state. You're able to go across the world even and potentially grow your business.
All right.
That is awesome. Wow, that really, let me get AJ back. There he is. Yeah, that was really good. I mean, I love the insights into both of your careers and companies, because it just gives people a better idea of what's behind the person, and that's really good. What about the most exciting thing about what you do? What do you like most about y'all's positions?
I would say it's definitely, I don't know, it's just really getting out that exciting closing contracts, closing deals, because not only am I excited for me, I'm excited for the person that I signed with, because like AJ, I mean, we do air on FS1, we air on ESPN, and you're only going to increase brand awareness. You're only going to kind of co-brand yourself with these major sports teams, networks, create that name for yourself where people are like, wow, I want to learn more about this business. So I think it's the helping people aspect and just finding new clients all the time. Possibilities are endless.
Awesome. How about yourself, AJ?
Yeah, a lot of the same things Anslynn was saying. And one thing she said earlier that I really love, it's about that consultative style and sort of sales process where I feel like we are helping even people, even families, because a lot of our potential, companies or clients that we're working with are increasing their bottom line. And, that has a trickle down effect. So I really take pride into that. And I love when clients come back to me and say, hey, our percentage of this particular part of my business went up, and that has a very, very touching feeling to, I'm sure, Anslynn and myself, where you can see the work that you put in actually paying off. And for me, another one is no day, is the same. So I love going into work and, being able to go out on these meetings, talk to various companies, very C-suites, and really just get to know them. No company's the same. And it really keeps every day interesting. It makes me learn a lot more exponentially.
Right.
Oh, that's good. Kelly, I wanted just to throw a question your way. I know you're in the franchise business with MadePro. What do you like most about the franchise opportunity, and what you might be able to share with people that could be looking, for a career in that area?
Absolutely. Honestly, I was not familiar with MadePro at all before I started doing some research on different cleaning companies. And MadePro became one of those companies that I looked more into. And I just saw that it was so much more aligned to my own values in terms of the importance of customer service and delivering a quality product. I am so happy to be a part of this organization. And every single day, I heard you ask Anslynn and AJ, what do you look forward to? What excites you? And one of the things that really excites me is being able to deliver a quality service to our customers. And when customers say, thank you so much, you have made my life so much easier. It's just very gratifying. It really, really is very gratifying. So I would just say that in this world of, marketing and branding, it's so important that people are able to see how you respond to them on a day-to-day basis. It's not just about having the sign up, but what comes after that? What service are you delivering? And are you able to replicate that over and over and over again? Because it's not always so difficult to get in the door, but to be able to continue to stay as a part of that team or that family is very, very important. And that's really what I love. Also recognize that our time is getting shorter. And I do want to say that it just makes me so proud to listen to Anslynn and AJ. To think about, Pete, it wasn't that long ago when you and I were their age.
So true.
And so to listen to both of you starting out so fresh in your careers, and to know that we could possibly have, a great number of students listening who may not have thought about marketing, who may not have thought about the sports industry from an account executive standpoint. That's what this is about. You are demonstrating Kennrod's mission, being able to expose our kids and families and community friends to other opportunities. We're in this place in the world where people have so many opportunities to do a multitude of things. And it wasn't always that way. A lot of times, I know when I grew up, it was you start your job at 20 years old and you stay there 30 years, and people are doing so many things. They're working, 3 jobs even in some cases, because they're doing things that they're passionate about and that they love. So I just really want to just take this opportunity to thank both of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here. And I want you to know that you are making an impact, not only as being a Kennrod board member, but even just your presence here today has made a huge impact, and other people will be able to see this over and over again. And I also have just a couple of announcements, Pete, but I'll let you chime in because you may have some people who have questions. So I don't want to miss out on that.
I know I do, but go ahead, Kelly.
Okay. We have been very fortunate over the last couple of days to be contacted by a donor who has refurbished 3 desktop computers. And they've reached out to us and said, hey, do you have any students who can benefit from a desktop computer that's been refurbished? So we love opportunities like this. And so if you're listening and you know of a student, especially in this time where we're having more remote learning, if you know of someone who attends a Title I school in the metro area, it's on a first come, first served basis. Please reach out to Kennrod at info@kennrod.org. Let us know if you are in need, you have a student who needs a desktop computer. We would love to be able to meet you at your school and present the computer to you. So please, if you could do that, first come, first serve, we'd love to hear from you. Awesome. And also, I want to let everyone know that we have our December the 16th. This is the last session for 2020. December 16th, we have live streaming again. We're going to have Miss Savannah Johnson, who's a therapist, and she's going to be talking to us about mental wellness. This is so important, especially during this time that we're in, that we're taking good care of ourselves. And she's going to give us a holistic approach, things that we can do at home or otherwise that will really help us stay in a positive mindset and go into 2021 just ready to take it on in positive ways. So we hope that you'll tune in and spread the word.
Awesome. Thank you, Kelly. When I was listening to you share that, I wanted to bring to the attention to what our guests are doing. They're serving, they're on your board, they're serving in the community. And it's so important to have that servant heart and go out there and find places where you can take your talents and your skills and give back. And that's obviously you guys, your philosophy is solid, because that is a big part of what you want to do is to serve. So awesome doing that.
Well, thank you, Pete, because we wouldn't be able to have this platform without you. Hey. I can't tell you enough how much it means to us. Digital Growth ATL. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We thank you all for tuning in. We thank our guests for being a part of this, and
Absolutely.
Kelly for your mission and what you're doing at Kennrod, and helping in the educational area and kids. It's so important to give them the vision and the insight into what the opportunity provides them. So thank you so much for everybody tuning in. We are so fortunate to have you all today. Thanks for contributing and giving us some insights into your careers. Y'all have
Yes,
an awesome.
everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you, Pete.
You bet. Y'all have a great one.